What is something you did that was illegal and got away with it? The other night I was driving to pick my girlfriend up from work and there was this red light that just wouldn't change. I sat there for 5 minutes, no traffic coming the other direction, and the light just wouldn't change. So I went for it. Pretty sure that was breaking the law. In the last 6 years, I swapped the engines of my daily cars to ones with more power. I know it's illegal, but I do it since I want more power. I did it again last spring. They always pull me over but never check the engine. I'm invincible. I drove 66 and 65. I also crossed a road once with no sidewalk. When I was in high school, I had a buddy who worked at Walmart. I was buying a VHS tape and some other random stuff and got into his line, and he didn't scan the video. Then he said he would do the same for anything. So I grabbed a bunch of impulse items, lighters, gum, stuff I would never use, and he put it all in the bag without scanning it. Still feel a little bad about it, to be honest. Piracy. Grew 150 weed plants in a popular walking trail before legalization, 6 years in a row. Be like 10 or so. Living in a neighborhood that has duplexes being built. Friends and I decide to run through drywall and half-built walls. Do 4K in damage in 2 hours. Foreman sees whole thing. Tells us after we are done to go home. Didn't get in trouble. He probably did it for the insurance money, but I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to color dollar bills because I thought they were too boring. I did this up until I was about 14 when someone saw me doing it and told me it was illegal to deface currency. I hid the dollar bill in a box, and I'm pretty sure it's still there 20 years later with its tie-dyed hippie version of George Washington. Taking a knife to school. I accidentally brought my balisong knife to school. I was playing with it in the morning. Put it in my pocket to put it away later. When waiting for the bus I remembered that I had a knife in my pocket. It was a trainer, not that sharp. So I was thinking about putting it away in the house, but I saw the bus coming, so I had to act like I didn't have a knife in my pocket. After a few hours I tried to put it in my violin case, but I didn't have enough space to do so. Then I had the genius idea to have it stay inside my pocket instead of my backpack. I think I thought that the teachers would check our backpacks, so I just kept it in my pocket. No one noticed a thing for hours. At the end of the day, I was feeling a criminal that just got away with $1 million. I then thought about doing it again the next week, but then I thought, no, I shouldn't. When I was a kid, I was in a shopping cart. In that car they have 4 kids to ride, reading a comic of the Backyardigans. When I looked again, we were outside the store and we didn't pay for that comic. I didn't rob it with the intention of doing so, it just happened, but there were no repercussions. Launching model rockets in a public park. I'm pretty sure that you need a special permit to do that kind of thing. I had to sign a document declaring that the fireworks I was buying were for agricultural purposes, like to scare birds away or something, but I totally just shot them off in my friend's front yard on the 4th of July. Sneaking LSD onto a plane. My brother and I were leaving a club pretty late at night in New York City. We get to the car and the driver's side window is smashed, glass all over, and we see 2 legs sticking out. Guy was trying to jack the radio. My brother and I each grab a leg, pull him out of the car and proceed to beat the living shit out of him. We go through his pockets and he has about $200 cash on him, so we take the cash to pay for the window he broke. We then threw him in a dumpster in a dark alley. Next day I bring the car to get the window replaced and the repair guy says $200 cash and I will fix it. No questions asked. I felt less guilty after that. Didn't have enough money for my stuff in the supermarket, so asked the cashier to leave out the drink and paid for the rest of the stuff. Then I just subconsciously picked up the bottle and walked out the shop with it and all my other stuff. The cashier did nothing, and it was only when I got outside I realized I accidentally stolen a bottle of Mountain Dew. I was about to go back to return it, but I realized that this shop was way overpriced and posh anyway, so they probably made up the cost with another 2 bottles, sold and walked off. The Mountain Dew still remains buried in my backyard to this day. Stealing. It's not hard. I don't even know how illegal it is cause it's that simple. Sorry if it sounds like I'm bragging. As a kid my mom took me shopping and I grabbed a Christmas card to look at it. We kept walking around and I somehow totally forgot I was holding it, and then we bought everything and went home. I didn't realize I was still holding it until on the drive home, and I guess no one in the store thought anything of it. But hey, once a thief always a thief. I borrowed my mom's car and chilled with a couple of friends. I picked them up and went to this parking lot with a hidden corner and kept the car on, but turned the lights off like all of them so we could smoke some weed. I got super stoned, dropped one friend off, and while I was driving with the other I forgot I had turned my front lights off and drove through a stop sign on a busy intersection. I kid you fucking not, we got there because I was going kinda fast. I heard sirens, so I found another parking lot, turned it carefully, and chilled till I felt safe. Nothing happened luckily, and the car was fine. Oh, and also previously that night I drove through a red light, but halfway through the light turned green. When I was a kid I used to open the marshmallows bag in the shop while my family buy the groceries. Then, I pass many times and grab some and go around eating them. Many years ago, my mom started to pass out as she was driving, so I grabbed the wheel and helped her steer it to the side of the road. I moved her over to my seat and took her seat. I didn't drive recklessly, but I was probably 5 to 10 above the interstate's speed limit. Smuggle a boatload of TVs into a certain Caribbean country. I had no idea the ship's hold was full of electronics until the captain cruised straight past customs, to be fair. In a small town in Ohio, my cousin and her BF are driving around smoking, and he pulls out his gun, says it'd be a shame if, and starts shooting it out the window. I get all hyped and want to shoot it too, so I shoot it. My cousin flips out a bit then wants to shoot it too. I used to rip the hood ornaments off cars when I was drinking underage, so 2 for 1. I forgot about them until I moved out and my mom found them hidden in an old hoodie. She damn near murdered me. I lit a small fire in my high school's cafeteria after school one day. No idea what I was thinking. Somehow didn't get caught, even though the fire left a very noticeable burn mark that was still there when I graduated.